Okay, so you might be saying to yourself, I've got it. I know what symbolism is. I can define it. I've watched those videos. I get it. It's a person, an object, an event, or a color that has a deeper meaning that represents something symbolically, figuratively, not just literally. I've got that in my mind. Awesome. But now, how do I find it in my book? How do I go back to a book like Speak and be able to locate where symbolism is so I can reflect on it with a post? Well, I've got three ways here in this slide that might help you do that. Three avenues to be able to locate symbolism. The first is when reading, pay attention to any items, locations, or people that are described with extended details. Anytime the author takes a paragraph or a moment and really gets into vivid description of it, they're likely doing that for a reason. If they describe that crashing, burning inferno of a fire, there's a reason why they're doing it. It's because that fire probably has symbolic meaning to what's going on in that moment in the book. Or if Shakespeare describes that rose that has a vibrant red but is filled with thorns, and goes on to describe that in the beautiful way that he does in verse, then it's possible that that rose has symbolic meaning too. So anytime the author takes time to describe what Stargirl looks like when she walks into school for the first day, or describes what Melinda has inside of her secret closet at school, describes the scientific oddities of Tangerine County, Florida, or goes on to think about what Darius is writing about with that dolphin in his story. Those are all possible avenues to think of, okay, there's probably a reason the author described those things and spent so much time reflecting on it. It's because it might have a symbolic meaning. Did I just give some possibilities away? Maybe, but it's up to you to elaborate and find the symbolic meaning behind those. The second thing, look for repetition. Look for again and again signposts. If you're reading today's 20, 25 pages or so and you see, oh, the author's brought this up like 4 or 5 times, you know that it might have symbolic meaning. It's a possibility. Kind of a complex example with Shakespeare, it's a clue. Anytime Shakespeare in Macbeth uses rhymes, sometimes he writes without rhymes. When he writes in rhymes, he's foreshadowing something evil is about to happen. So when a character is talking in rhyme, that's symbolic of the evil deeds that are about to occur. Sometimes symbolism too can be hidden in plain sight. What I mean by that is sometimes things as simple as a title of a book, people's names, or the names of towns and cities in a book can be symbolic. Sometimes an author will just pick a name out of a hat like Todd and use that, but oftentimes authors are strategic about the names and the titles that they pick. When they choose a name for someone, or they title a town, or they choose their book title, that can be symbolic. Speak, Stargirl, Tangerine, Darius, and Twig. Some of those, even just in the title, might be symbolic. They might have a deeper meaning behind why the author chose to name their book that specifically. So you may use that as an avenue too. Got some possibilities of some really common symbols in books. So if you see any of those, if you see water, or maybe a book takes place in autumn, or there's a sunrise during a scene, those things could be possible symbols as well that you can reflect on in your post too. So feel free to go through that checklist and see if any of those stand out in your book as well. Hopefully this helps. Symbolism can be a little bit more complex, so if you're having trouble today looking for symbolism in your book, finding one to reflect on in your post, reach out to me, send me a quick email, and I'll give you some possibilities that will help you along that path. Okay? Got my last slide with my example post, so take a look at that, and then you can get right to work.